Hi, my name is Mike and welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular, a vlog that this week has strange feelings. Clarets draw 2-2 against West Ham in the season home opening league game. A interesting and entertaining game of football, the likes of which we haven't seen for the best part of 3 years. That's it in summary. Yeah, we've had one-off individual great games. He says, trying to think under Parker. Sunderland at home 0-0. Sunderland at home 2-0 maybe. Sheffield United. Anyway, we're talking a very small number to kind of compare it to, but it was a hugely entertaining game. The Clarets getting a 90-something minute equaliser to send a not quite capacity crowd home happy, or a largest part of it happy. Just afterwards, if you were walking out, the West Ham fans, if you look at some of their online stuff, they were not happy at all. Immediately after the game, they're already asking for their manager to be sacked. Some of them, anyway, the online ones. But then we've talked about the terminally online ones before. But yeah, walking back through the town centre, there was some, West Ham fans who'd had their first drink and their first line in a while and trying to kick off a little bit. But, ever the diplomat, I managed to step in and diffuse the situation because, they were yelling abuse and all that kind of stuff. And I speak the language. I speak Cockney, so I just basically, stepped in between the two sides and, did my best to diffuse the situation by speaking to them in their own language and saying things like, I was a pace, Danny Dyer, can, jelly deal, oh, love you, mum, cray twins. Seemed to work. Anyway, I like that. Anyway, it was a great game. Oh, no, it was an entertaining game. The Clarets are way, way, way off being the finished article, yet held a team that everyone expects, including myself, to get automatic promotion, to a draw, and probably could have won it. I'm not going to say should have won it. I think could have won it. We had enough chances to win it. And that's a phrase I'm not going to say a lot, or I haven't said a lot for the last 3 years. We had enough chances to win that one, but we didn't. But it was kind of a weird one in terms of before the game. That new away shirt, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous. It is clearly outselling the home shirt by at least like 10, 20 to 1. Loads of people have it. I'm going to look at it as a Christmas present. Maybe with the sponsor on, maybe not, because it looked really nice without the sponsor on it. A lot of the shirts we've had over the last couple of years look nice, and then you take the sponsor off, and they're quite just like a blank in the middle. You can tell there's something missing. Whereas with this one, without a sponsor on it, looks like a very nice kind of going out shirt, not just a football shirt. It is a gorgeous kit. It really, really is. It's just ironic, I guess. I guess it's kind of ironic after all the positive publicity that the club now have to refund or rejig all the shirts and all that kind of stuff, having sold so many of them. But add it to the lessons learned, guys. Add it to your due diligence next time, all that kind of thing, because you've probably sold as many shirts as you have of the last, I don't know, decade or so. And now you're going to have to face the costs of rejigging them. I think quite a few people might actually keep the original sponsor and not go through the hassle. That's not the point. The point is the club have to do it. I credit to them, they've done it, but the club have had to do it, which means a lot of the money that they've made off that shirt is now coming back to bite them in the arse. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you know the story of Blue Monday, when the Factory Records released the 12-inch of Blue Monday. They did it in a special kind of packaging and all that kind of stuff. It was the largest selling 12-inch of like all time. 12-inch records, kids, ask your parents. Anyway, largest selling 12-inch record of all time, which was a bit of a problem because they lost money on every single one. So the more they sold, the more they lost. And I say, Clarets, that shirt, the more they sell, the more it's costing them. Anyway, so that was, but before the game, lots of people around. Bit of a, I'm not going to use the word strange atmosphere, bit of a interesting atmosphere. Obviously, first game of the season, there is a buzz of excitement. Around the ground, there was not that buzz of excitement, the intensity that you would normally get. And I think a large part of that is twofold. One, down to the inherent grimness of at least the last 2 years, if not 3. And the way we just kind of, I mean, we haven't even seen a home win for, including Saturday, Sunday's result, almost a year now, almost. And then kind of wariness about what the future holds. So there wasn't that buzz. There wasn't that kind of, real sort of the crackle in the air that you sometimes feel on the opening day of the season. There was positivity, but there was wariness. And then the game kicked off. West Ham go down to our end, and suddenly we break. And we break at speed. And we break with players. And Hannibal makes that lovely pass to Brun Larson. And then he crosses over for Fleming, who, difficult cross, goes over the top. And you could feel everybody in the crowd suddenly go, right, this is what it's going to be like. And then they kept coming forward and they kept, taking shots from distance and all that kind of stuff. And you could feel people just going, okay. And that was the thing. I mean, I was like, is this allowed? Are we allowed to do this? Are we allowed to break at speed? Are we allowed to play with tempo? Are we allowed to pass around? And then West Ham take a corner and score from it unmarked after 10 minutes. And it was like, oh yeah, that's the Burnley I've got used to. Look, you can kind of pick plenty of holes. Most of them in our defence. But I don't want to analyse the match too much. I mean, a lot of people have done the match analysis, hell of a word to say. There are other podcasts available and all that kind of stuff, and I recommend them. But I don't want to go too much into who did what and all that kind of thing. But I think the overriding impression during the game, even when we went 2-0 down, I got a question, because this is how I felt, and it's a question for you. When we were 2-0 down and there's like 17 minutes to go, were you confident we were going to pull that back to 2-2? Because I was. And I can't explain why. It was one of those, I thought, if we can get one, and we've looked like getting one, we're going to get 2. And it wasn't a hope. It wasn't a, come on. It was, I think we're going to do it. And that's a weird feeling, because last season at 2-0 down, after 72 minutes, well, 3 minutes later, me and the person 4 rows back would be the last people left in the ground, because everyone would have gone. Whereas this time, everyone sort of stayed, and it felt like everyone went 2-0 down, 15 minutes to go. Not a problem. We got this. And that, on a first game, under a new manager, in a team that, and I'm not going to turn around and saying they played really well, because I don't think they did. They played like what they are. A team short on confidence, because they've had the joy kicked out of them for 2 years. Short on time under the manager's new plan, because he was late appointed. But that's okay, because remember the rules. You're not allowed to judge till at least Christmas, because that's how long it takes the manager to get his ideas across. Why are you going on about Parker again, Mike? Because I had 18 months of some fuckwits defending him to the death. And then suddenly, when you can see that I was right and many others were right, and how simple it is to make a positive change, you're going, oh, don't talk about it. Yeah, I am going to remind you, because some of the shit I got, I don't forget. That's the crime in football. I don't forget what people say. So you who nailed your flag to Parker's mast, went down with that particular ship, fuck yeah, I'm going to remind you of it. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, anyway, so there was still that hangover of the players having the joy being out of them, the fans having the joy being out of them, but the players, not quite connecting with some of the passes. But here's the thing, the passes were going forward. The passes were being zipped at speed. We were taking shots, they were going over, they were going wide, but we were taking shots. Oh, thank the Lord. And we got our reward. And I was so happy for the players. I was so happy for the manager. Because it was like, yeah, you deserve that. You kept going. Now, for me, across the board, yeah, you can sort of say, and I don't like giving numbers because they're meaningless. Oh, well done, you got 7 out of 10. Well, so what? I think across the board, it was a 7.5, 8 out of 10 performance. But it was 7.5, 8 out of 10 performance. So a point at home against the promotion favourites who have spent money, who have quality players. One of them was in a World Cup final a month ago. One of them should have been playing at the World Cup a month ago. Might have made a difference for England. A settled side, a manager who Scott Parker-ish, but slightly better. Well, a lot better. Who knows his way out of this division. We played 7.5 to 8 out of 10 across the board. Got a point. And here's the best bit. That equaliser went in on 93, 94 minutes. And they ran to get the ball back on the centre spot to try and get a third. And they pushed for a third. And when the final whistle went, and it should have gone, not complaining, everyone in the ground went, ugh. And that's great. That's great. Is this an automatic promotion team? Oh, God, no. We got flaws. But I'll talk about players in a minute. But as far as the first game goes, as cleansing the bad taste of the last 2 years, for me, I don't think I could have asked for more. I mean, I think we're in for a season where we're going to win games 4-2 and we're going to lose them. We're going to lose them 2-0. And I think that's okay. I mean, this is a team that I already think can be trusted to be 2-0 down and try to get it back. They're not going to give up. The substitutions, I'll come to that in a sec, but they were just complete positive substitutions. Is it a team to defend a 1-0 lead in the last 10 minutes? Don't think so. I don't think so. But is this a team that is leading 1-0 at 85 minutes and is likely to end up winning it 2-1? Yeah. Fine by me. Fine by me. Yeah, that's all I can ask. That's all you want. I got my money's worth. I had a right good time on Sunday. And I talk about substitutions. Each substitution was positive. He took off Ragabert. I like Ragabert. I don't think he had the greatest of game. First game of the season, brand new league, brand new club, brand new situation. You can see he's neat and tidy. You can see he's got bags of potential. Fine. People going, had a poor game. No, I think for a debut in the situation, again, I'll come back to this. We are playing the promotion favourites. If West Ham do not go up in the automatic places, in my opinion, something has gone wrong for them. And he looked more than fine. Hannibal, not great. Like I said on the last one, yeah, we kind of you expect you to leave, but you always overrate your own players. Who's going to buy him? And certainly on that performance, who's going to buy him? Laurent, I thought was really good. Who else? Who came on? Brun Larson, I thought was very good, by the way. Yeah, he's not the fastest, but he's putting crosses in. He's finding space. He's being a winger. He's being the player who was the top scorer in the Company Premier League season. Good. Edwards isn't a frustrating one. I'm sick of seeing Edwards falling to ground or sliding to ground, and I don't mean diving, I mean slipping. Can someone please put studs in his boots? But he also looked like a little bit of a hangover again from Parker. Wouldn't pull the trigger. And I think Hayen will have seen that. I hope Hayen will have seen that and just basically encourage him a little bit. He looks like someone who's a little bit lost and a little bit unsure. And that's okay. That's okay. First game of the season. Manager's only been in a month. Fleming, brilliant. At the back, Max Delaney. Okay, not going to worry about him for the rest of the season. Walker, people having to go at Walker a little bit. I don't know if you noticed this. Okay, was Walker Brilliant at centre-back? No. I don't know if you noticed this. The way him and Elaine work together, you can tell they'd come through the Pep system, the Man City system. They knew where each other were at all times. They were passing the ball between each other with confidence. So if we do bring another centre-back in, I don't think it's going to take a little bit of time because they instinctively, Walker and Elaine, know what's going on between each other. Son liked him at right back, and I don't think he's played his way out of the team either. Bash on the left, I don't think he had the greatest game, but he was up against Jarrod Bowen, who everyone says is going to be the star of the championship, and I don't disagree, to be honest. And then he had that run where he ended up getting two-hand pulled back by the midfielder to get the yellow card. There is our left back leading a counter-attack. When was the last time that happened? I'll tell you when. 3 years ago under Company, because we will not have seen that under Scott Parker. Vice at the back, not great. But I keep telling myself 21 years old, 22 years old, 21, 19, all that kind of thing. I think this, I said about being lightweight, a little bit inexperienced. This is where we need kind of an older head. I really wish we had Josh Cullen in that midfield because I think Cullen would really make it tick. But, you beggars can't be choosers. As I say, the midfield looked fine against the promotion favourites. Other things, playing down the current cricket field end, that was weird. From a personal point of view, I'm like, really? Because I love sitting where I sit. And I sat bang on the 18-yard line in front, in the long side next to the Jimmy Mack. So I had a lovely view in the second half. Now I'm going to have a lovely view in the first half. Slightly annoying, but it just reminded me when I started watching the Clarets on standing on the long side, that's the one we kicked to in the second half. Cricket field then. That was fine. Music, I noticed things like this because I used to be involved in music and presentation at sporting events, ice hockey in particular. I don't know what you would call it, happy hardcore, techno, I don't know. It's young person's music. But I was like, oh, that's different. Okay, cool. At least it isn't generic indie playlist. Because that was generic and bland as hell. Clearly, I think it's come from the manager. I'm cool with that. Piped in No Nay Never chant. Okay. Not against it, weirdly enough. I think it needs editing so we can sing along better. But I think I'm not against it at all. Let's see how it beds in. All, in summary. God, that was a breath of fresh air. And instead of looking for a deal on Now TV so I can watch all the games, all the midweek games on telly, I'm now thinking I might try and swing it. It's not easy because where I work and what I do. I might try and swing it to get to the next home game, which is a midweek game. And you wouldn't have caught me saying that a week ago. I want to see this team again. I want to see them play. I'm looking forward to seeing them improve. I think they're flawed. I'm not saying they're the real deal. I stick by what I said. Playoff team. But God, that's a playoff team. It's a team that could either blast through the playoffs or break your damn heart and lose to a last-minute winner or something. But such a breath of fresh air. Such a difference to walk off the turf 2-2 and buzzing and just enjoying it. It's weird, football, it's so hard to explain to people who don't follow football why sometimes a draw feels like a win and a win can feel like a loss or a draw. I'd rather take so many of those than a Scott Parker 1-0 win. I really would. And you could feel it in the crowd. It put Broyer on. The guy behind me turns around and says, we've got two up front. I went, yeah, I'm checking if that's allowed. Because we've had it beaten out of us. And Nicky Hayen's a breath of fresh air. And we've got some young, exciting players. And we've got players who are talented, who rediscover the joy of playing football. And I think this manager is the guy. I mean, that was the thing. I know Brun Larson got substituted, but I think he got substituted because his race was run and they wanted to put fresh legs on against a tiring defender. Edwards was not substituted. Parker would have substituted Edwards. But Edwards wasn't substituted. He wasn't having the greatest of games, but I think it's going to help him to have played 90 minutes, even though he wasn't having the greatest of games. Hannibal did not have a good game and got substituted, but it was a positive attacking substitution. Laurent I've said about LeRon, he's a limited player, limited by the standards of professional top-level football, way better than me and you will ever be. But he was clearly, he's one of those who will listen to the manager and follow his instructions. And he was playing positive passes, trying at the edge of the box to score. People say, can this team score against a low block? If we can keep Zeki Amdouni, I don't think we need to worry about scoring past a team that plays a low block. Because 3 or 4 of those players are going 20 yards out. I'm having a bang. I'm happy with that. Broya look interested. Broya and Fleming. I don't. Please keep Fleming. Please keep Fleming. But Broya and Fleming together, and on that performance from Broya, yeah, more of that. God, Broya, Fleming, Amdouni, going forward in the last 10 minutes of a match. That's something to get excited about. Anyway, that's it for this week. You can tell I'm a happy bunny. There's, it's a little bit rambly and all that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to say how much fun I've had. And it's a game I've been thinking about for 24 hours, 48 hours. I'm really just pleased. In the meanwhile, next one is going to be after Middlesbrough. As I say, I might well be there now. Might well try and arrange it. If not, I'll watch it on TV and then do my thing. But thank you for your positive comments. Thank you for coming up on Sunday, saying hello and telling me how much you enjoyed it. I genuinely appreciate it. Always up for a chat if you see me around. If you like what you've seen, click like. If you really like it, click subscribe. Tell all your friends, all that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, Nicky Hayen put the smile back on 20,000 Burnley fans' faces in less than 10 minutes. Nice. Up the Clarets.